What is up, everybody? My name is Scotty Hastings, and thank you for tuning into my channel. If you are new here, please go ahead and subscribe. If you're not, thank you for coming back and subscribing and love what we're doing here. This is a new segment that I'm going to start. It's going to be called Story Time. I know. Oh, but you said that you were going to do, what you need to do to be a parent. I get it. That video will come. I promise you that video will come. Okay? How to be para, everything you need to know about it. Today, I'm just gonna focus on my story. I wanna get our stories as para archers. I wanna get our stories out there so that we can let people see what we've gone through and how we've triumphed over it. So basically, my story starts April 21st, 2011. I was in Afghanistan with the 1st Infantry Division, Full 4 Cav, and we were on patrol going to a suspected IED maker's hut, I guess, because they're all huts. They're not like real houses. It's like a mud hut of mud and poop and water and sticks. But it's like stronger than concrete. It's crazy. We were walking pretty far distance. And so I walked up on a little ravine. We call it a wadi, but it's actually like a little man-made river. Anyways, walking up on that, there was a guy standing behind the wall. He was on my right side. He was maybe 10 feet, 11 feet from me. He just looked like a normal guy in Afghanistan. Everyone in Afghanistan looks at you like you don't belong because we're not Afghanis, so obviously we look different than everybody else. So they all look at you like, why are you here? What the hell are you doing here? You don't belong here. Here I am, good old private first class, Scotty Hastings. I was a Valen operator, which means that I operated the metal detector to find IEDs. So I was the first person in the movement. I was the spearhead of the movement. I was walking up, guy just right behind the wall. I see him, and I don't really think anything of him. He kind of just looks like all the other Afghanis that we see. He gives you that look like, what are you doing here? And then that you just move on. You get used to being looked at like you don't belong there. It's horrible for me. I started going back into my Valen operation and, working on, just trying to find IEDs. And then I saw the guy that I saw him move really quick out of the corner of my eye. As soon as I saw him move, I flipped around and I basically squared up to him. Squaring up to him is basically just bringing the center line of your body in front of them. So I did that. Brought my center line of my body in front of him so I could square up, so I could grab my rifle and engage if I had to. Well, by the time I flipped around and dropped the Valen and went for my rifle, he had already started shooting. So he basically just sprayed and prayed. He was shooting a PKM, which is a heavy machine gun, and he was hiding it behind his back. I saw him reach behind his back and then pull something out, and by the time I saw him pull it out, I felt it. So, that being said, the movies are full of shit. Getting shot hurts, all right? Especially when you know you're getting shot. And the sound, when you shoot a firearm, it's loud. When a firearm is shot at you very closely, the sound is deafening. It's unbelievable how loud that rifle is. At the time, when I flipped around and he started shooting, all I could do was scream. There was nothing else that I could do other than just scream. I mean, it hurt. It felt so. What I would compare the pain to is if you took a fire poker that you would normally use for a fire to poke it, take the fire poker, put it in the fire, let it sit there for a good hour and a half till it's nice and red, and then take it and slowly push it through your skin. That's what it felt like. You could smell my skin burning. I could feel it. I mean, it hurt very badly. That's why I said the movies are full of shit. But then again, if you're getting shot from far away, I do know people who have gotten shot and had no idea. I have a buddy of mine who got shot in the head and continued to fight because he had no idea he got shot in the head. I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that I watched the guy shoot me. Maybe that's what changed. Maybe that's what made it happen. I don't know. It's weird. Anyways, so got shot. I'm laying on the ground, and the guy stood there, which was crazy. He stood there for a good 30 seconds. And while he was standing there, I was trying to pull back the charging handle on my weapon so that I could fire at him. The charging handle got lodged back in the rear. So when I pulled back, it just basically cleared it. It was weird. And I couldn't figure out why. So later, I found out that when I got shot, my rifle was over my chest because I was about to engage, right? Rifle was over the chest. When I got shot 5 times in the shoulder, 4 times in the hip, and once in the thigh, okay? So when I got shot, he started down here on my hip, or on my leg, worked his way up, but he didn't know he was doing it. He was just spraying and praying, hoping to God that I didn't shoot him first. So, anyways, hit me here, came up my body, which means that a couple of the rounds went through the upper receiver of the M4. So when that happened, it actually welded around into the chamber of my M4, which is why when I pulled the charging handle back, it just basically just went flimsy and wouldn't engage. So I'm laying there freaking out thinking that, this guy's gonna finish the job. There's nothing I can do. This guy's gonna finish the job. I'm yelling at my buddies. They're trying. At the same time that I got shot, that was the cue for the ambush that the Taliban had set up whenever we were moving. So originally, what had happened was, let's use my wife's makeup palette. All right. So what had happened was, say this is a field, okay? Originally, we were down here. We were moving this way, but instead of going into the field, we decided that we would go around because we had been moving in the same direction for a couple hours. And rather than moving in the same direction, doing the same thing over and over again, you have to change it up because the enemy will pick up what you're doing and they will plan an attack based on the consistency that you're showing them, okay? So instead of going this way, we went this way. So what happened was this guy who shot me, this guy right here who shot me, wasn't ready for me to be there. He was expecting us to go this way. And what they had set up was they had a team along this wall, and then they had a team along this wall. So what they wanted to happen was they wanted us to go into this field and wait till we got real deep into it and everyone got into that field. And then they would engage from here at us and engage from here at us. So that look that I was talking about that he gave me, the what the hell are you doing here look, it was because he was expecting us to go this way. And we went this way. So that's what we did. That's what happened. So that being said, what I mean by this was me getting shot was the trigger for the rest of the attack was because as soon as they heard him shoot me, these guys started shooting at my guys in a little break that was in the wall right here. There was a little break right here that was in the wall. So they started shooting. These guys started shooting at whatever they could get a hold of. All the time, this guy's right here. And so it's hard for these guys to move when bullets are flying through a break in the wall right here, right? So here I am, shot on the ground, definitely bleeding out, trying my damnedest not to go into shock because what you learn in basic lifesaver class is that shock is the #1 killer in soldiers. If you get injured and you go into shock, you have a higher chance of dying. That's what it is. So the whole time I'm laying there and I am just talking to myself, trying not to freak out, trying to stay calm. Finally, the medic gets to me, and our medic was awesome. All right, Shipley, he was a great guy. He did great things. He was awesome. All right, the medic saved my life. Here I am, medic's finally on me, and I'd lost so much blood at this time that he couldn't find a vein. All right, so he just basically threw it in there. He threw it in there to wherever he could get where he thought a vein was. Luckily, he hit it. Yeah, all right. And we're sitting there and I'm wide awake through all this. And I don't, you know, I start to lose so much blood that my eyes actually shut down. I stop being able to see. You know, and the whole time the guys are on me and I'm trying to joke with them. I'm trying not to think about what just happened. Right? My adrenaline's still pumping, so the pain's starting to subside a little bit. I got morphine in me now, so the pain's starting to subside a little bit. So I'm just trying to keep my cool, you know, making jokes, getting people to laugh. I'm laughing with them. But my eyesight shut down, completely shut down. I couldn't see anything. All I could see was white. And you know, when people are talking about seeing the light, you know, I think that's what they're talking about. I think your body loses so much blood at some point that your different parts of your body. I mean, we learned this in high school, you know. Start to lose blood, different parts of your body will shut down so that it can keep the vital stuff alive. I guess my body thought that my eyes weren't vital. So my brain and my heart were vital, not my eyes. So eyesight shut down, all the blood stopped going to them, I see white. And this is what I think is called seeing the light. When people say it, it's called seeing the light. And you know what's crazy? Is this calm comes over you. When I got shot and I realized that I was basically on the brink, I was there. Like I was basically on the brink of death. Like there was a chance I was gonna die. You know, at first you freak out. You know, and it's weird, when I lost my sight and I started losing so much blood, it was like calm. Like that's me dying. I was calm. I was relaxed. Like I was ready. Like it was weird. Another thing, when you're losing a lot of blood, you are extremely thirsty. Extremely thirsty. I was so thirsty. Like they kept giving me drinks of water and it didn't do anything. I was so thirsty. So anyways, I'm awake for this whole thing. All right, absolutely awake, feeling everything. And yeah, they take me on the gurney. And I'm a big dude, right? I'm 6'4", 200 something pounds. I'm a big guy, all right? So when they put me on the gurney and they're taking me off, I get dropped, all right? A little drop. Oh my God, it's 4'4". You're probably laughing right now because you know it's true. You know that you dropped me. Assholes. You know you dropped me. So, but I don't blame them. All right? And we were going through a lot of stuff to get to where the bird would pick me up. Anyways, it felt like forever for the helicopter to get there. But it was probably, if I remember correctly, it was maybe 30 minutes. All right, so somehow I hung on for 30 minutes. I don't know how. But anyways, they put me in the helicopter, right? When they put me in the helicopter, you know, the flight medic asked me, you know, what's up, what's going on, how do you feel, blah blah blah, and of course I'm hurting. So what? I'm hurting. What the hell do you expect? So anyways, I'm hurting and I'm awake through all this. All right, I've been awake and coherent and knowing what the hell's happening. The only thing is I can't see. I can still talk. I don't remember if I can smell, but I can still talk and I can still hear. So, you know, he asked me what's wrong. I told him what's wrong. I'm hurting, dude. I just got shot. What? I think that's exactly what I said. Anyways, we get into Kandahar. When we got into Kandahar airfield, they immediately rushed me out, took me into the hospital, and they started cutting everything off, started working on me. You know what's funny actually is I was in there and another one of my guys got shot also. I had no idea that he got shot. No idea. And I heard him talking and I was like, what the hell are you doing here? Man, I got shot too. Anyways, on to the story. I heard a nurse come into my ear and say, it's okay for you to go to sleep now. Well, you know, once they got me hooked up and got me going and everything, I heard it's okay for you to go to sleep now. As soon as I heard those words, boom, I was out. I was gone. I was out. So they worked on me for a little bit and yeah, next thing you know, I'm in an airplane. big ass airplane full of a bunch of different gurneys. And at some point between Afghanistan and Germany, we went over Bagram or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, I lost pulse on my arm, on my hand. They completely lost pulse, and they had to make an emergency stop at Bagram where they basically had to take a vein out of my right leg and replace an artery in my right arm because the artery had actually been nicked. They just didn't know. So yeah, limb salvage. That was fun. I woke up in Bagram, had no idea where the hell I was. They said, welcome to Bagram. You want to make a phone call? And I made a phone call. So yeah, there's that. So anyways, at this time, got to Bagram. Bagram was maybe a day. Actually, yeah, Bagram was maybe like a day. All right. They got me stitched up, put me back on another plane. Boom, off to Germany I went. Germany was interesting. Landstuhl Hospital was interesting. Okay. Number one, I had a catheter in. First time I ever had a catheter in. Not a fan. I ended up like peeing out of it. I didn't like it. So I had them take it out. It's weird. Number two, Landstuhl, Germany has some very good looking hospital nurses. So shout out to Landstuhl, Germany. Good job. And that's definitely what we all want to come to whenever we're injured. Good looking nurses. So anyways, got into Landstuhl. They did a bunch of other surgeries to make sure everything was good. I don't remember all the damn. I've been into so many surgeries I don't even remember most of them. So anyways, got patched up. Took about 4 or 5 days, I think, in Landstuhl. And then once I got out of Landstuhl, they asked me, where do you want to go? Do you want to go to BAMC in San Antonio, or do you want to go to Walter Reed in DC? And, I didn't know BAMC, but I'd heard about Walter Reed. Walter Reed has history, man. I want to go to Walter Reed. So, off I went. Flew off from Landstuhl to DC, get to DC, and I get in the biggest ambulance I've ever seen in my life. It was an ambulance that had it had both the walls, you could put gurneys on them, and then it had 2 sitting bench seats in the back. It was crazy. Biggest ambulance I've ever seen in my life. So anyways, get there. I get to the old Walter Reed, the historical Walter Reed, not the new Navy Medical Center, whatever that thing is called. Get there, I have a bunch of other surgeries. Eventually we make the transition into the National Naval Medical Center at Bethesda because they shut down Walter Reed because it was old and it was in the middle of the ghetto. So get there, and I'm at Bethesda for, I did a month of inpatient and I mean, when I say inpatient, I mean getting wound treated every day, going in, getting under anesthesia every other day so that they can go in and surgically clean my wounds. It was a pain in the ass. It was a pain in the ass. But Lieutenant Dan was there. I miss Lieutenant Dan though. I had to go into surgery and he was making his rounds. So Lieutenant Dan, if you're watching this, or if anyone knows Lieutenant Dan, Gary Sinise, I would definitely like to meet you because I missed the opportunity because you were making the rounds and I had to go into surgery, so I missed you. So if anyone knows Gary Sinise, throw this his way. So here I am, I'm shot up, sucking. It sucked. It really did. I'm not gonna lie, it sucked. I was attached to 3 different wind vacs. I mean, it sucked. But Walter Reed had some killer milkshakes. Amazing milkshakes. So I ate the shit out of some milkshakes. It was delicious. So anyways, here I am, Walter Reed. And I started during my outpatient process at Bethesda, my 6 months of outpatient that I had to live there but wasn't considered inpatient, which is weird. During those 6 months that I was there, I had heard about adaptive sports. I didn't know what it was. Didn't make any sense what an adaptive sport was. At that time, I was just so out of it, I didn't even care. I didn't care about adaptive sports, didn't care about none of that crap. So eventually, I heard that, eventually I heard from the grapevine that my guys were coming back from Afghanistan to Fort Riley. And I made a beeline to my nurse case manager and said, hey, I need to be on a flight to get to Fort Riley before they get there. I want to be at Fort Riley when they come there. That way I can be there when everyone comes in. So, although he didn't think it was a good idea, I talked him into it anyhow. We ended up going to Fort Riley. I ended up hanging out at Fort Riley for a little bit, about 4 years, in the WTB, which was awesome. Anyone who's ever been to WTB knows that WTB suck. I'm not even gonna get into why WTB suck. Just know that anyone who's been in the WTB, it sucks. And we all know that it sucks. So anyways, while I was at Fort Riley, the nurse case manager gives you this list, this paper. They're like, all right, here's what we can try, okay? You can try cycling, you can try this. I didn't do cycling. I mean, I did later on. It was ridiculous. But, I mean, there was a bunch of different stuff that you could do, like adaptive sport-wise. I mean, everything. I mean, you could learn how to play a guitar. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, they had nap classes. Who doesn't know how to take a nap? So, I'm at Fort Riley. I learned, I decided, screw it. I want to do archery. I'm going to do adaptive archery. Let's see what this is all about. So that's when I get to meet a guy by the name of Jesse White. All right, he ends up becoming a very close friend of mine. He is still a good friend of mine. He's the head coach for the Army team. And he is a great dude. He really is. He's a little rough around the edges, but he's like a teddy bear. He's like a big dog that likes to bark, but then whenever you come up to him, he'll just lick the shit out of you. I'm not saying Jesse licks the shit out of people, but you understand what I'm saying, the reference. You get it. Here I am, meet Jesse White, and I decide to shoot archery. So I'm originally right-handed, and so with my injury, all right, I got shot in the brachial plexus. Okay, that's the cluster where all the nerves from your arm go into your neck, go into your body. That's where the brachial plexus is. So I have extreme amount of limitation in my right arm and my right hand because of the nerves being so screwed up after getting shot. Go figure. So I'm stuck with this awesome claw hand. Leah Coriel calls it the dinosaur, the T-Rex hand. So shout out to Leah, you're awesome. Anyways, so I'm naturally right-handed. So Jesse asked me, what hand are you? I'm right-handed. Horrible idea to shoot a bow with a trigger that is operated by your finger when you can't feel your hand. It's horrible. Don't do that. That's a horrible idea. I shot so many arrows in the freaking roof that Jesse told me to put the bow down. He literally looked at me and said, all right, just stop. You need to put the bow down. It was that bad. I was bad. So I thought, well, screw it. I tried. And then Jesse has this brilliant idea. Have you ever tried left-handed? No. I better try left-handed. I'm right-handed, bro. Come on. So he gets me a left-handed bow. I start shooting left-handed. And I'm good. I get good. It was amazing, actually. So, I mean, at first it was a little rough when you're learning how to do something left-handed. But over time, I mean, that's the one thing. So the one thing that people ask me is, how was it transitioning from right-handed to left-handed, learning how to do things left-handed? It sucked. Learning how to write left-handed is the most infuriating thing you will ever have to do in your life. You will be more frustrated trying to learn how to write left-handed than you would anything else. Because my brain moves faster than my hand does because this hand isn't used to writing. I decided to pick up a left-handed bow and I start shooting and I'm good. I mean, I'm good. Eventually Jesse starts asking me about shooting tournaments. At this time, I had no idea what tournament archery was. I thought he was joking. I thought archery was just something you did so that you could hunt. I had no idea what tournament archery. Tournament archery? What? So I had an amazing company called Operation Once in a Lifetime. Go check them out. They're an amazing company. They hooked me up. They got me a new bow. They got me arrows. I mean, they hooked me up. They are great. It's a great company. Operation Once in a Lifetime. Go look them up. Got a hold of them. Decided, I want my own bow. And I mean, it had been a while of me shooting the WTB PSE Brutus. I mean, it's not a bad hunting bow, but it's not a tournament bow. So I had gotten into really wanting to shoot tournaments, and I needed a tournament bow. So I got a Mathews C4, left-handed. Probably to this day, I will tell you that was the best bow I ever owned. The best compound bow I ever owned, Mathews C4. So I started shooting, I started getting good. I went to my first tournament called the Mid-America Games, and I won first. I did really well. I wasn't expecting it. I knew how I was shooting, but I didn't know what tournament archery was. I didn't know what to expect, how to get into it. So Jesse White took me and a couple other guys from the WTB out to the Mid-America Games in 2014, and I won it. So from then on, it became part of my blood. All right, archery became me. So growing up, I was extremely athletic. I wanted to be outside. I wanted to be doing something sport related. I was very, very, yeah. I can't even think of the word right now. TBI sucks. Anyways, I was extremely athletic. I was very, very competitive. And I felt that when I got shot, that part of me was gone. I felt that a part of me was stripped away from me. And then not only that, but now I'm looking at possibly losing a job that I thought I was going to make a career. I thought the Army was going to be my career. That's what I wanted. I wanted to do my life in the Army and then retire when I'm old and wrinkly and can't move anymore. That's what I wanted to do. But I had something else happen that took it away completely. So here I am. I'm shooting archery. I won my first tournament, so I felt amazing. But the thing about archery is the reason why I think that it became part of me and part of my blood is not only the sports aspect of it and the competitiveness of it, but it also the fact that when I'm on that line and I'm shooting, nothing else matters at that time. It's just me, my bow, arrows, and that target. That's it. So everything else just is gone. It's like therapy without having to pay a therapist a buttload of money. Instead, you're paying all these archery companies a buttload of money, and yeah, it's way better. Way better. I started going into tournaments, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to shoot tournaments. Eventually, I got to the point where I shot at the Army trials for the Warrior Games. I think I took like 4th or 5th or something like that. But the way that the Warrior Games works, it worked out perfectly because I also swam, which is something I never thought I'd ever do either. Never thought I'd be a competitive swimmer. So the way the Warrior Games works is you have to compete in multiple sports, okay? The Warrior Games is like an Olympics, but for the services, the wounded, ill, and injured service members of each service. And each branch of service puts their own team together, and we all compete against each other, right? So the Army and all the other teams can only bring so many people. Can't bring a whole swim team and a whole track and field team and a whole city volleyball team and a whole archery team, and you can't do that. So we had to basically compete in multiple sports. Well, mine was swimming and archery and sitting volleyball, and which was good because not only was I good at archery, I was semi-decent at swimming. Actually, no, I was horrible at swimming. I swim like a freaking rock that's weighted down by another rock. That's how I swim. It's horrible. It's horrible. But I was the only person in my category. So, guaranteed medals. Boom. Here I am. I'm looking at the possibility of maybe going to the Warrior Games. Army trials is just a step where they decide to select the actual team. I get selected for the team, and I shoot really well. After qualifications, I was number 1. I was shooting really, really well. All right, so there are sandbaggers in archery. Okay, you're able to miss off to get set up in a certain point in the bracket system. When we went into the bracket system, was shooting against a sandbagger. It was awesome. Dude was shooting on his knees and doing stupid crap. So he ended up beating me. And that was my individual archery career in the Warrior Games. But me and my team, Frank and Ben, 2 of my good friends also, Frank and Ben, shout out, what's up? So we get together and we shoot lights out. When I'm talking like lights out, I'm talking like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. No, we shoot freaking great. Our team dominates in the team rounds. Absolutely dominates. The very last end of the gold medal match between us and I think it's Air Force or Navy. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Anyways, the very last end of the gold medal match, we shot a 60. All right, and at this time we were shooting the small 10, which is about that big. All right, I don't think I have anything here that will. About that big. It's a bottle top. Yep, there we go. It's a bottle top, right? That's about as big as the 10 at this time. We threw 3 arrows in this on one target and threw 3 arrows in this on the other target. We shot a perfect 60. First time it ever been done. Probably will be the only time it's ever been done. Because now that they've went up to the little X here is an 11 rather than a 10. Now it's the X is like that big, and then this sits inside of it. So then, boom. So we shoot 60. We're feeling great. Get a gold medal out of that. I get my ass kicked at swimming, but I still come home with medals because I'm one of the only few in the category. But I mean, like I said, I swim like a rock that's being held down by a rock. And sitting volleyball, we do really well. I think we ended up with a medal. I don't remember. It feels like it was forever ago. So after that, I knew once I got done with that I wanted to take this to the next level. I had been talking to the sitting volleyball coach for the U.S. Paralympic team. He gave me his number, told me to come out and train with him, and basically trying to scoop me into that. But my focus and my passion was in archery, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. So with Jesse's help, I ended up getting a hold of Randy, who is our head coach, and coming out to the Arizona Cup. When I came out to the Arizona Cup, I got classified. And I tell you what, the classification process was rough, all right? So the classifiers, they don't care if it hurts. Pain does not classify you. Not at all. They do not care if it hurts. They don't care if, when they squeeze this way, if it makes you cry. They do not care. They care about range of motion. If your range of movement or range of motion is hurt because of your injury, that's what they care about. So, that being said, for anyone who wants to classify, if it hurts, sorry, doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is range of movement. And they will pull and tug and twist and shove and move parts of your body that haven't moved up very high in a long time. And when it starts to hurt, let them know, because they'll stop. I mean, they're not monsters. They're not gonna beat you up while you're there, but they're gonna test it to see what you can do. With me, it was my shoulder and my hand. So, and I barely squeaked by in classification, barely. And I have a hand that permanently does this. It does that, and it's a continuing deterioration of my muscles because my nerves haven't linked back up with the muscles in my hand, which means that eventually this will probably be gone. Who knows? That's my little tidbit of classification. You know, it was rough. It really was. I mean, I didn't know what to expect going into classification. I knew that I had this injury, but I didn't know if I was going to classify or not. I mean, you look at the guys on the para team. If you look at me standing next to everyone else on the para team, I don't look like I'm para. You know, I don't look that way. I'm not missing a leg. I'm not missing an arm. I'm not sitting in a wheelchair. I was skeptical. I really was. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think I was gonna classify, but I ended up classifying. I ended up squeaking by. But like I said, pain does not matter. It's range of movement. If your range of movement is messed up, then there's a chance that you could classify. All right. If you get headaches, doesn't matter. If it's psychological, does not matter. It is strictly physical limitations. I'm at Arizona Cup. I get classified and I'm like, yes. But then I find out that I have to hit a certain military score in order to get paid by the VA, which I had no idea about. I didn't know that you could get paid by the VA to be a shooter. That's freaking cool. No idea. Disclaimer. If you are a veteran and you want to get paid by the VA to be an archer, do not fill out the paperwork before you get classified. Get classified first. The only reason I say that is because I have seen people get screwed. The reason why I'm saying that is they're screwing themselves. It's not the VA screwing them. It's not USA Archery screwing them. It's them screwing themselves. What happens is, according to the VA, you're able to get paid as an archer if you hit a certain score, right? If you're looking into para and you hit a certain score, you're able to get paid. From the date that you hit that score, you have a year, 1 year exactly, to get classified. If you end up not being classifiable, guess what? The VA is going to get that money. They're going to get that money back, 100%. I guarantee you. There are people out there who have been screwed themselves and are wishing they would have never done it. It happens all the time. That's why I'm throwing this out there right now so that you can hear it and stay away from it. I'm at the Arizona Cup, and this was back when they had, every year at the Arizona Cup, they had a classifier. They don't do that anymore. Now it's certain events, and again, that's going to be in the next video about how to become a para and all that stuff. Anyways, here I am, Junior Arizona Cup. I know I need to hit a certain score. I don't remember what the score was. I think it was like a 5. I think it was like a 600, like a 575 or something. I don't remember. 2014, it feels like forever ago. Anyways, my TBI, I don't remember crap. At the Arizona Cup, and yeah, at that point, I didn't really care about score. I knew I was classified, and that's what I want. That was my goal going into the Arizona Cup, was to just get there and be classified. Being able to shoot was just icing on the cake. So I ended up shooting. I ended up hitting the score, the first tournament ever shooting at 50 meters. I ended up jumping into the program, the para program, through that. So then I start going to other tournaments, and then I think I went to one tournament and didn't shoot very well, and then I went to SoCal. I remember shooting SoCal, and that was the score. That was the one tournament that I shot at that I actually hit the score that I needed to be on the team. I think that was that one. I don't remember. Anyways, I know at some point I hit the score that I needed to be on the team. Okay? Hit that score, and now I'm on the team. But another disclaimer, if you are a compound archer, you are competing against about 30 other people. If you're a recurve archer, you're competing against about 8 people, 9 people, maybe at the most. So, just because you hit the score doesn't mean that you're naturally gonna jump right into international travel. I mean, that's the same with compound or recurve. International travel means the top 3 get to go on international events. If you're not top 3, you don't get to do it. You get to be considered on the team, but you don't get to travel because you're not top 3. You have to be top 3 in order to travel. That being said, I was not top 3. Nowhere near it. And you know, I this whole time, I mean, I live, eat, and breathe archery. Every day you can ask my wife, she gets upset because all I talk about is archery. So, at this point, you know, I'm starting to, over the years of shooting compound, I'm starting to kind of just lose it, you know, lose that drive, that passion shooting compound. You know, I noticed that, you know, I didn't really care. My scores were going down because I didn't care. I didn't really, there wasn't that passion there. That passion that I started with was gone. So, what was it? Last year? Year and a half ago-ish, I guess? I don't remember. Anyways, it's before Rio. I was talking to Coach Randy and told her that I wanted to switch to recurve. You know, and this wasn't just something that I was just like, I'm not shooting good, I want to switch. No, I mean, it was, I am intrigued by recurve archers because I know that shooting a recurve compared to a compound, the shot has to be a lot more perfect to make it a good shot. And I knew that I wanted to try it. I had no idea how to do it or what I wanted to do. So eventually, I stopped going to arm trials because whenever you start shooting VA scores, you can no longer compete at the Warrior Games. So, well, I think they changed that now, actually. Anyways, doesn't matter. At the time, they had a rule in place that the Warrior Games, if you were a paid archer, as in, you know, professional archer, or you were paid by the VA to be an archer, you were no longer allowed to shoot at the games. So I stopped shooting at the games, which opened up an amazing door that Jesse pulled me in, and I became one of the assistant coaches for the Army archery team for the Warrior Games. So I started doing that, and at the Warrior Games, I had Dan and Jesse both working with me. Mainly Dan was working with me to learn recurve archery, how to shoot it. I had done nothing but shoot compound. I didn't know nothing about it. But surprisingly, I picked it up pretty quickly. You know, it was something that felt good to me. I could feel like what my body needed to do, how it needed to move. Other than my hand, I can't feel my hand, and my arm, and my shoulder. But I have this WTB bow that I'm using. At the time, I was on loan. Fort Campbell let me borrow a bow because I was in Tennessee now. So Fort Campbell, shout out. You guys are awesome. Yeah, you guys are great for letting me borrow that. Anyways, I was learning recurve, man. I had no idea what I was doing. Had no idea how to put up. I had an idea of how to put together the recurve bow, but as soon as I got it in my hand, I was like, wait a bit. What is this? And I don't know how does this thing go into this thing? No idea. So over time, I learned, and you know, I have been learning more and more about it. People ask why I switched all the time. It's because I was missing that passion in compound, and with recurve, I found it again. I found that passion and that love and that drive, you know, to be great. And, with recurve archery, that drive to be great is there. It has to be there, because if not, then your shot is just going to go to crap, because every shot has to be great in order to hit the middle with a recurve bow. And just making a good shot with a recurve bow is so much more rewarding than making a good shot with a compound bow. With a recurve bow, I know when the way that my body feels if I just made a good shot, because I can feel it. With a compound bow, I couldn't feel that. I couldn't feel that feeling, that positive feedback. And I think that's what I needed. And now I'm shooting recurve, and the VA still hooks me up, and I have some amazing companies backing me up. As far as sponsorships, CAF. If anyone knows what Challenge Athlete Foundation is, if you want to be an archer and you want to be a para archer, reach out to the Challenge Athlete Foundation. Reach out to Nico. The Challenge Athlete Foundation has helped me so much in just getting to tournaments. Because I'm not going to lie, these para tournaments, these tournaments that you're going to have to shoot to get onto the para team, it's expensive, dude. I'm paying $180 every tournament I go to. It's expensive, and that's just for registration. That's not counting airfare and everything else. So as a vet, if you have a chance or the opportunity to reach out to a company or a nonprofit that helps out vets, and you want to go to the para stuff and you want to be on the para side, reach out to those people, get your foot in the door. That way, whenever you need it, they can hook you up. Because there would be no way that I would be here on this level if people like CAF and Operation Once in a Lifetime had helped me out. And when you're there, whenever you really get into archery, develop a shooting resume and send it out to companies. These companies are looking for people, the veterans like us, that have a story behind them, that they're just looking for people who are out there, who are positive about archery. There's negative people all over the place, but if you can be positive and you can love archery and you can want to be an archer and love the atmosphere and be positive about it, optimistic about it, these companies love it and they thrive off of it. So reach out to them. Don't be scared. If you've never shot a bow before, but you're really interested in doing it, do it. Don't be scared. Grab life by the nuts and run, all right? Don't be scared to do it. Go out and do it. If someone like me who got shot 10 times and kind of basically just got forced out of the Army and never thought that I would ever be able to do anything can come out here, you can do just about anything you put your mind to. I promise you that. Also, with that, if you are still active duty, and this is only for my active duty guys, all right? Active duty, whether it be a vet or you're able-bodied, if you want to shoot competitive archery, I urge you, it would behoove you to reach out to somebody and talk to them about WCAP program. For people in WTB, talk to your chain of command, talk to your nurse case managers. They will have more information. WCAP, the World Class Athlete Program through the Army, is the greatest kept secret in the Army. And I will be doing a video on WCAP with 2 of our WCAP shooters that we have on the para team very soon, as soon as I get to link up with them. It'll probably be in October, actually. I think I'm about to go to a coach symposium, which I'm going to take you guys to in October. And yeah, that's my story, and I hope that someone takes something out of it. And if you get a chance to, throw a comment down below, whatever you're feeling, throw it out there. If you think I'm full of crap, throw it out there too. I don't care. It's whatever. Give me a thumbs up, go ahead and subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next one.